Okay, hello and welcome. Back again. This week we are chatting to one of our long-standing members who's been with us for, how long have you been with us now for, Fiona?
Just coming up 3 years.
Yeah, long time, which is cool. So Fiona, just tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into CrossFit in the first place? And we've kind of established you've been doing it for 3 years, but yeah, how did your CrossFit journey kind of start?
I think at the time I had been doing a lot of kind of cardio stuff, and I was running, and I was doing various other things. But it was just a kind of point in my life when I was kind of going through some personal stuff, and I was needing a bit of a change. But I wasn't really sure what exactly I wanted to do. I just knew that what I was doing wasn't really hugely satisfying. And my sister had come over from the States that summer, so it was 2017, I think, yeah. And she'd been doing CrossFit for a few months at that point. And obviously, being a CrossFitter, whenever she travels anywhere, she's like, "Where's the first CrossFit gym?" So she really wanted to come along and persuaded me to come along. We went for a few classes there, and I was kind of hooked from that point. I think there was like an initial membership thing back at that time, and when she left, I kind of continued up to that point, which immediately rolled into like a 3-month membership, and then after that it was a yearly membership. Yeah.
Do you remember your first class? Do you remember like what you did in your first class?
No, not the first class. I do remember, I think it must have been a Saturday one, and it was a team of 4, and it was me, Misha, and her husband, and Alex, that were in a team, and it was just the most horrendous but amazing workout. We were always dripping with sweat, and I was like, yeah, I'm gonna come back.
That's cool. Who coached? Do you remember who coached your first few classes?
I think it was Sam for every one of them. Misha and Ryan, I think, had come to ones maybe by you. I can't remember. I think some others.
Yeah, I think I did coach Ryan and Misha in a morning class that first time they came over. Yeah, I think that might be right. So let's touch on Misha. So Misha obviously played an important role in that kind of first start. So Misha's your older sister, but Misha obviously trains at CrossFit New England. So for those of you who don't know, CrossFit New England is like if not the most famous CrossFit gyms in the world. Their head coach Ben Bergeron has a whole array of CrossFit businesses, from CompTrain to Chasing Excellence, which is a podcast that's worth a listen. They've won the Affiliate Cup and stuff. So what does Misha say CrossFit New England's like? And then how does the stories that she tells about CrossFit New England compare to what goes on in our gym?
Okay. So as of recently, actually, Misha's now working at CFNE.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so she's actually the chief operating officer now. So kind of like Ben's right-hand man in terms of managerial functions there. So it's quite cool.
That's cool. I had no idea about that. So that's cool.
Yeah, no, it's just a recent thing. So her background is she's been a corporate event planner for years. So it kind of went hand in hand. She got to know them all really well, and has been there so much anyway. And it just kind of popped up as a position that was available. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But yeah, in terms of the stories, so one thing, she always makes comparisons between the two gyms. And I've been to a few gyms, and I know that they're not all the same, but she's genuinely always made the comparisons that, so she's always saying about the standard of coaching being amazing here. And also the other factor is also the sense of community. That's just such a powerful thing, I think, for here, but they also have that there. And I think she's just always seen those parallels. They just tend to do a lot together, which we all do. And yeah, no, it's just nice that she's seen that. So, but it is it is kind of weird because she'll come out with things, casually mention this athlete and that athlete like just trained at the gym today, and it's just so normal for her. But,
Yeah, I mean, you've not really had a quiet lockdown. I mean, I'm pretty sure at some stage I saw you on a Zoom call with Catherine David's daughter. Is that not correct?
it's not a normal thing for me. But yeah, no, she joined in on like a little Saturday coffee morning. It was quite bizarre for me too, don't worry.
Yeah, like that's insane. It's like I think it's cool to be able to do that.
Yeah, no, it's really awesome. And she's just so down to earth. I mean, that's the thing. It's just so like they're just so kind of humble and normal, and yeah, it's just really lovely to like meet people like that, I guess. So yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's a really motivating place, I guess, from that perspective. Like, you know, having the people casually strolling around is probably pretty good mid-wad to be like, okay, shit, got out my game.
Yeah. The CrossFit New England party like what we do?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I need to figure that out. They do have I think we should bring this here. It's like a wine night. So,
That's something I can support. That's something I can absolutely support. And good. That's cool. What was the hook back when you first started? So what made you bite on to the fact that CrossFit absolutely was for you, and then what's like continued to be the hook like as your journey's gone on, like year 1, year 2, year 3?
So yeah, this, like, as I've touched on, like obviously the people and sense of community is a huge part for me. But also just I think it was the variety, and not, you know, I've done things in the past where it's been you kind of do the same thing and you go over it for 4 weeks and then they move on to a new class and that kind of thing, and it's just not been. I just love the variety of this, and knowing something's like different every day, and regardless of if it's your favorite thing to do or not, you're kind of consistently working towards something, and I actually kind of feel as if it's the days that I don't enjoy the movement or this or that, that they're actually probably the most beneficial in terms of kind of the mental and the physical benefits from doing them. So yeah, I think I usually train in the mornings, and I actually realized in lockdown that I maybe don't need to train at 6:30, but I do.
You guys are mental. You guys that train at 6:30 in the morning are mental.
But no, I probably don't need to in my day-to-day life, but having said that, it really does set me up for the day ahead, and I feel like it just kind of sets my mind straight for everything that I kind of go on to do. And yeah, I realize that I don't know why I do it, but I'm still going to do it when you guys open back up. But yeah, no, it's just, I think it's just the first thing that I've probably done ever where I'm really aware of my body and like my capabilities, and it's not really, it just puts things in less of a kind of guessing game as to your achievements. It's not just you're chasing a time or this or that. There's so many different aspects of it that you can keep working on and keep improving, and you're never really done. And I think that's probably the most enjoyable part.
Yeah, that's cool. That's pretty much spot on. What's your favorite thing to do, and what's your least favorite thing to do? So what's your favorite movement? What's your least favorite movement?
Least favorite movement is definitely bench press. I really
Okay.
But favorite, I don't know, I have quite a few favorites. Quite like rowing. But that's, yeah, it's not really a CrossFit movement as such. But before lockdown, I was really enjoying cleans. And yeah, just various gymnastic things. I have quite a few favorites, but yeah.
Good. For those of you who maybe haven't trained with Fiona's very fit. Fiona's aerobic capacity is very, very large. That is her area of, that's her wheelhouse as such. So if you ever end up in a cardio piece in pairs with Fiona, be prepared to suffer. Yeah. So let's dive into like some of the stuff that you've done, like on your, like in the time with us. So you've done lots of things that we've kind of had on offer. So you've done 40 Doc, you take part, you come to like my barbell club quite regularly. And so it's like, so What bit of advice for people that have maybe been a little bit shy about coming to those things, or like in terms of those things, like what's been the biggest change for you? Like what's been the most beneficial thing for you in terms of your journey of those additional things that we kind of offer?
I'd probably say like things about them all, but I don't know. I could probably say quite a bit about 40doc. So that's probably had the biggest kind of life altering position for me, and it's just, you know, I started 40doc, I think it was about it's just about a year ago now, but I didn't come from a position of, I came from a position of kind of trying already to do my macros and my nutrition and figuring things out on my own. I didn't come from a completely like novice point of view, although you absolutely can. So it's just to stress that point too, because I think a lot of people that that don't go into that process because they think they know what they need to know about nutrition, but I felt like I kind of knew, but I just didn't know quite enough. So yeah, no, I started that, and I really just wanted to know how everything was properly translating to me. And it's, you know, I'd been doing the nutrition side of things for a while, and it just still felt so much like a guessing game. And I think when you're doing things on your own, it's just, you get deflated and demotivated, and you just suddenly think, well, I'm not seeing the improvement day to day, and like it's just not really working. So I'll just stop this, and I'll just, you know, you just kind of have that mentality a wee bit. But when you're in a process like that, when someone is giving you that reassurance that you are actually on the right track, and you're not doing it completely alone at that point, so it was really good. And just having, there was just so much knowledge that like Adam was able to provide in that process, that kind of questions I hadn't even thought of myself, and answered a lot of ones that I did have. And yeah, just how I could look at food and my nutrition in a healthier way. And I noticed, like, obviously with doing classes alongside it, I was progressively over time noticing differences in myself and how I perform in class and things like that. So yeah, it was really beneficial doing that. And I continued for quite a while doing like bi-weekly check-ins after 40doc had finished, just because I knew in myself I just wanted that consistency and to hold on to it for the accountability side of things for a while. And yeah, I can say now, 1 year on, I've been out of the process quite a while, but it's instilled so many kind of just ways of being that I've been able to fluctuate and not feel pressure or stress about that at all. You just adjust your numbers, you just stay to the plan and you're fine, kind of thing. It's just taken away that stress and built up a much healthier relationship with my diet, and just, yeah, so that's been good in that side.
Yeah. And then what about some of the other things, Fiona? So things like Barbell Club, Team Wars, all those other kind of other things that we kind of do.
Yeah, so Team Wars was interesting this year.
You had a good partner.
So I've only ever done one Team Wars before, and I had 4 other teammates, and that was like it was the February after I'd started, so it wasn't long in. But this year was slightly more stressful. I'm kidding. It was fine. It was good. It was really good. But no, it forced me to kind of like consider what I was capable of, and work on a few things too, and test out in an environment where I'm fairly comfortable. So that was fun to kind of get a competitive side of things, but without the potential stress that comes with going on my own anywhere else. But yeah, Barbell Club's been amazing. It's just great to have that dialed in focus, and that dedicated time towards working on a few key movements, and especially over the way you do it in a 4-week block. I find that really helpful. And also the how-to sessions with Liam have been really good for that same point of view. Just really dedicated time towards like 1 or 2 movements is, yeah. Really good.
Yeah, because I think obviously like in class there's only so much time like you can spend on one thing, so it's just nice to strip like one particular area back and focus on it for a little bit of time. So yeah. We've just touched on something that I wanted to ask. So obviously Team Wars, you kind of elaborated, but you obviously had plans kind of now of doing little bits of competitive CrossFit? You were kind of dabbling, you've done a few qualifiers, you qualified for your first individual. You also came with us like as a reserve to team strength and depth last year. So what are you thinking on that front? Is there more of that to come, or
Yeah, no, I think so. I think like everything that I've seen so far, I'm still like appealed to the idea of doing professional CrossFit. So yeah, no, I'd really love to get into this more. And yeah, no, I like everything I've seen has been great. I generally like I'm pretty sure this is the same with everyone, but I work much better when I have a goal in sight. So I think the thought of it probably makes me a little nervous, but it's in a good way. And I don't know. I know there's probably going to be good points and bad points that come from doing first few competitions, but I kind of fully expect that, but I kind of crave that in a sense to be able to grow at this point, I think.
It's always a learning curve, like even like no matter how long like you've done it, like every time you do a set of qualifiers or competition, you're constantly learning something about your fitness. So yeah, if you've got an inclination to do it, then absolutely do it. Where so there's a CrossFit, there's a competitive CrossFit aspect to the journey, but where else do you see it going? Like what's the plan in the next kind of, well, let's turn 6 months into probably a year now, and then further on, like what, like long term, like where do you see your fitness journey going?
I don't know. I mean, I feel like I'm now that I'm in the realm of CrossFit, I don't feel like that's going anywhere anytime soon. So I'm probably going to be into my master's, like age. Yeah, I think this is me now.
Okay.
Some form or another, just I think you can't really see past it when you start it. I don't know. Now I don't really know what else I'd get into, but I guess everyone's at that point at some point. But short term, there's still obviously a lot of movements and developing certain skills that I just want to get better at. I think I don't want them to be, I want to kind of try and minimize my limiting factors, I guess, and just try and focus on all the weaknesses.
Currently, so like I obviously touched about one of your wheelhouses being that obviously your capacity is good and stuff, but where do you see your weaknesses at currently, and what are you kind of doing? What are you kind of doing about those?
So my lifting numbers aren't probably the best, but they were on an increase towards just like kind of pre-lockdown time. So I was curious to see where that would go. I do have some equipment at home, which I'm still trying to keep that side of things active. And gymnastics wise, just keep going with where I have been and just try and there's certain things I just won't be able to do at home, but I'm just trying to keep those that I already have consistent or get better with them. Double unders were like the bane of my existence for so long.
Not anymore. I saw that Instagram post, 50.
For like 2.5 years of literally not a single double under and trying. But yeah, so like, yeah, just things like that. It's just, they felt so impossible. So it's just nice to see some improvement, and then I just try and get better and better.
Yeah. So in order, like, so for, and some of your weaknesses, you've been working pretty closely with young Fraser. How did so again, the one-to-one coaching, like, obviously that's going to have had a huge benefit, and like, what was the decision process to take a little bit of one-to-one coaching and obviously like take that and run with that? How has that helped you move on as far as you have?
No, that's great. So that was about, I think it's about 2 years now, I think, one-to-one coaching. But yeah, no, it first started, I was both Ingrid and I were doing one-to-one coaching as a pair. And we both kind of we were at a similar point where we were wanting to improve on things, but we weren't necessarily sure as to how best to go about it. And yeah, but at that particular point in time, I'm guessing it was try and dial in good mechanics at that point, and then hopefully that'll be able to take that forward. So yeah, no, we started that, and that's been that's been really great. I mean, I think he asked us to write a list of things that we wanted to improve at that point, and I think I turned up with like a full sheet of things. So, you know, to tick them off slowly, but it's like a reoccurring goal setting. So, and it's been really great. So yeah, no, it's been really beneficial just to dial in on specific things. I think, much like I'm chatting about in more recent times in terms of Barbell Club too, it's just having that focus every week or every other week, that you are still actively thinking about specific things, you know, whether or not they happen to turn up in class or not, you know yourself that you're doing the work outside of that, and seeing improvements. So, yeah.
So just kind of following up on that, like what advice would you have for like a new person or a semi-new person, either like just starting out in CrossFit generally, or obviously starting out within kind of one of our gyms, like one of the functional fitness gyms? The best bit of advice you could give?
So they're thinking about starting, or no? Or
yeah, let's go for someone who's thinking about starting.
Okay. So yeah, no, I would just tell them to dive in. I don't know. I kind of set myself, if there's anything I'm particularly nervous about in life or whatever, I kind of generally set myself 2 weeks, whether it's a new job or whatever it is, like 2 weeks of just sticking at it. And you know, if it's your nerves getting away or whatever, and yeah, just there'll be things you're naturally drawn to and things that you aren't. But yeah, I would just stick with it, and you probably find that by the end of that period you're already signing up to whatever, like a year or 2 years or whatever. But yeah, it's funny because there's movements, there's things that you do that you know, prior to going you'll have never heard of in your entire life, but then they suddenly become your goal, and then it's like, yeah, seeing improvement is addictive. And I feel like within CrossFit, I feel like you kind of grow exponentially in terms of your physical health and well-being, but also I feel like it's such a mental game as well, and growth in those areas too. So yeah, who doesn't want to benefit from that?
What was the most daunting thing for you when you first started?
I guess it's just, you know, being in the class environment and listening to what's been coached, and just the fear of mucking it up, I guess, in specific movements, and the fear of, I don't know, just nervous that you're going to do the wrong thing. But then that was all eased so quickly at the gym because of the way you guys all are. And it's just, yeah, I commend that, because it's just, you put everyone at ease in that environment. So yeah, I guess it was that.
Thing like we've tried hard to make sure that that's always been the case, because gyms are notoriously not a welcoming or easy place for people to be. They can be intimidating, so that's been super important, and like at the kind of center of what we've tried to do in the last 4 years. So it's just nice to hear that actually works.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, absolutely. It's great. I see it all the time in new people that come in, and it's nice. So.
Yeah. Right, Fiona, I'm going to go to the questions from the gram earlier on today. I'll pull them up, and then we'll finish on the quick fire.
Okay.
Kirsty sent me these just earlier on. Okay. Question number 1. What has changed in your eating /diet /nutrition since 40 Doc?
So not a huge amount, and not like I probably still eat much the same, but it's just having that awareness of how much I need of everything, and probably having more sensible decisions on everything. I mean, I bake cookies and I eat cookies. Like, you know, I'm not the kind of person who's going to like rule out a food group, and I'm certainly not going to rule out cake.
No.
But yeah, so I just have more of an awareness of, if I want to have the kids stuff is the stuff that I want, like what I have to do, what I have to think about throughout. And I've viewed it as a process of a week, which is something that Adam talks about doing, is just that you can't, sometimes you just can't view it as the day, you just view it across the whole plan of the week. And that just takes a lot of the pressure out. So I haven't necessarily changed a huge amount about what I eat, but it's probably just a management view of things, which isn't, it sounds stressful, but it's not stressful. It's actually gives me so much, just much less stress. It makes me calmer knowing.
Did the 40 Doc process, so like before you jumped onto 40 Doc, were you, was it in your mindset that it was very much like chicken, broccoli and rice must be the way, and then you did 40 Doc and you sort of realised that actually I can eat whatever I want? Like was that the mentality, or was it not? Or
No, I don't know. I don't think I thought that way. I can't remember that. But yeah, I don't think I thought that way. I don't know if I would have been willing to sign on if I thought that was the way. I was like, I find something that tells me like I can't eat cake. But but yeah, no, I think I knew that it didn't have to be that way, and it just makes sense to me. It's like a lifestyle choice that's actually sustainable rather than something that's just going to be a diet or a fad or this or that. So
yeah, no, good. Okay. Next question, we've kind of covered already, but we can go again. Favorite and least favorite movement in CrossFit and why? So bench press. So why? Why is bench your least favorite thing in the world? I almost find that offensive. As a male, I find that offensive.
My least favorite.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Well, I think everyone in the gym probably knows that I have a fear of like sending the barbell over my head. So I think the fact that it's like
I'll let you off then.
Yeah, just don't know. I just have never been great at it. So, but I mean, it's something that I still do, and I want to move on like everything else. but it's not a favorite. But favorite would be actually box jumps scare me. Yeah, so that's probably it's not a least favorite. I do love them. But yeah, I'm still a bit scared of them. Like if you tell me to turn the box on 24 or 30, I'll probably cry.
That was one traumatic experience though, wasn't it, Fiona?
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was like, yeah. So I think it's just in the back of my head, but but I know it's irrational, and I have jumped on 24 now a fair few times, and I know that's just irrational because I still clear it okay, and I'm fine.
Yeah, fine.
But yeah, I don't know what my favorite is. Don't know. Too many.
Too many. Do you have a favorite workout, like benchmark workout or open workout?
I really loved the 20.1 one. So that was the ground overheads and the burpees over the bar.
Yeah.
It was so yeah, that's probably in my head is the most recent one that I loved because it was just fun because it was strategic. So I think I quite like that aspect of it too. It wasn't a hugely heavy weight, but it was about controlling more than just it was just about controlling more and just being sensible with it. So I liked it from a few point of view.
Because you came in and did that one again, and like drastically improved your score. Is that right?
Yeah. For that one, yeah, no, I I went out a bit hard and fast in the first time and suffered a lot.
Yeah, that workout. So that being one of your favorites wasn't one of my favorites. I'm not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. Next question. Can you hang snatch a lamb yet?
Do you know what? I'll try because they're still all fairly light. I'm not going to do that in a few weeks.
I'm not sure how the lamb's going to get getting hang snatched over your head, but I look forward to seeing that on Instagram.
I might not post it. I might get like calls.
You exercise a lot. How do you incorporate your rest days?
I probably don't do enough.
What is your current, so obviously pre-COVID, like what was your kind of training breakdown? Like how were you training? When were you training? What were your rest days?
Probably would fall on a Sunday, but it probably wouldn't be complete rest. Probably activity. I'd maybe go for a short run or something like that. So Sundays would probably be the dedicated rest, because I would come 5 days a week, and then before lockdown I tend to come on Saturdays quite a bit, but I would tend to just do classes and a little bit of additional strength work afterwards, so I wasn't spending a huge amount of time out with that. So I don't know whether that made up for not taking a full day within the week off.
Yeah. Or were you basing it based on just pretty much how you felt? Was it like, right, I feel wrecked today, I'm going to rest today, or?
No, because if it was a class that I was booked into, then I'd be like, I feel a bit sore. It would probably help me. I'll go.
Right, okay. Leads us nice into the next one. Will you change your training when we go back to the gym, or how will it change? You mentioned that maybe not needing to train at 6:30, even though you might. Like, will there be some things that you change when you go back in?
Yeah. I realized that my day could probably incorporate doing an additional session. So whether it is that I come in for my class at 6 and then try and do other training at a different time of day, something like that. And then that potentially, straight after quite hard workout at 6:30, maybe I'm not giving my all to the sessions that I'm doing straight after. So it might actually be more beneficial in what I can gain if I came in at a different time and just got that work done.
So. Yeah. I still can't, like I said earlier on, I still can't fathom how you can train, like how you can consistently train like so well and so hard at that time of day. Like Kirsty can testify like what it's like walking into coach at that hour, never mind like to actually exercise. There's a couple of times you've probably walked in and you've seen me train before class, but very much it's like that has to be conditioned for me. Like I couldn't think about doing anything else like at that time other than conditioning. Like, how do you find doing strength work at that time of day compared to, like, is it easier on certain days given what the workout is, or is it very much it's now ingrained in you and it's totally fine regardless?
It has been fine. But some days I probably dread it a bit more than others. If we've had like a really long workout. But yeah, I've find it fine so far. But then I've also noticed on other days that I'm maybe not getting the most of it that I could be. So yeah.
Do you look at the programming ahead of time? Do you look at it in advance of coming in?
Yeah. I was quite started posting that. Yeah, it helped me anyway.
Yeah.
Kind of just. I think I just like to do that generally, just sort of switch on to whatever is coming. So yeah, it was good.
So you can plan whether it's going to be a good day or a bad day. I know that feeling. Last question. What has lockdown taught you?
Do you know, I actually think it's probably taught me quite a bit. Just trying to stay consistent, and the days that I haven't made class and trying to improvise and do my own thing. Yeah, no, I probably should just come to class all the time. But no, it's good. Just on a like a motivation point of view, as well. Just I think it's been good in terms of just teaching me to try and be a bit stronger mentally and just get the work done. I mean, if anything, it's just going to give me more mental strength to go back and try and train on my own sometimes and do all those things. I mean, yeah, you're doing it all the time. But yeah, so I don't know, just to persevere and just keep going.
Yeah, that's good. Right, that's all the questions, Fiona. We're just going to finish with this quick fire. So there's only 5. Basically, the rules here, some of them will be kind of yes or no's, the others will be you get a couple of sentences to answer. Okay. So nice easy one to start. If you could only bake one thing ever again, what would it be?
Apple crumble.
And why?
That's just a staple.
Is that a staple in the Wallace household?
I actually haven't made it in a really long time, but yeah, it would be.
David's going to thank me for that later. There'll be an apple crumble this weekend. Next one. Your best year of high school. For anyone that doesn't know, this is relevant because Jen, that's in the conversation, Fiona and I were all in the same year at school.
Oh. Why? You asked that.
Oh, this was me.
What?
These are mine.
All right. I don't know. I don't. Fourth? I don't know. Fourth, fifth? I don't know. Like, it wasn't that memorable for me.
Fair. Slightly more difficult. Who was your favourite Team Wars partner?
Gussie.
Good answer. I'll give you your cash later on. Next one. This one's from Kirsty. So I didn't have it totally my own way here. Which Fraser? Big Fraser or Little Fraser?
Oh, Kirsty. That's a wee bit of a divide there. I'm just going to say you, Kirsty.
That's a cop-out. I'll let you off. Okay, last one. This is might be your most difficult one. David or Lily?
Oh. I asked him that the other day. He didn't give me an answer. The lambs for sure.
The lambs. Yeah. Good. Awesome. Thanks, Fiona. Thanks for coming on and doing this. Is there anything you want to plug while you're here? Anything you want to say? Anything you want to tell people about before we start recording?
Nope. Just
no.
In person.
I know. Same. I think we're all feeling like that, but fingers crossed. That day will be soon. So yeah, thanks again. I'm going to start recording now. Mm-hmm.